Hello and welcome to On the Ice today on ASTV. Today's episode, we go to the west side of Manitoba, the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League once again, as we visit with second-year head coach and general manager Kevin Kaminski of the Ronge Ice Wolves. Now, if you don't know where Ronge is, we will ask Kevin himself as well. He's been a member of Saskatchewan since the day of birth. He's traveled here, there, and everywhere. He's got Johnny Cash's shoes on. He's got several good lines and quotations he uses for his fellow players and coaching staff, I'm sure. And he comes well seasoned to the SJ, even though this is only his second season with the Ronge. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kevin Kaminski to the On the Ice show here on ASTV. Joining me is Kevin Killer Kaminski. Kevin, welcome to the show. How are we doing today?
Good, Theo. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're able to take the time with me. I like the art behind you, the Ice Wolves art. Very cool picture. We'll get to that in a second. But first, how did you get the nickname Killer?
Oh, gosh. It goes, I think, way back, I think, playing midget AAA. Goalie was coming out to play the puck, and he beat me to it, so I decided to take the body. And he was wide open, and he had a yard sale, and I think he was knocked out. And just, I guess, my style of play, just, at 15 to I got called up to play with the Blades, and we're going to Prince Albert. And as a 15-year-old, I had fought Baumgartner way back when. So just a few of the stories, I guess, why one of the coaches from the Blazers started calling me that, and then so do the guys from the Blades as well.
It reminds me of another nickname of a killer, Dave Killer Carlson from Slapshot. I'm sure you've watched that movie many times. I don't think this generation watches it very often, but nonetheless, a very culture-filled form of what the road was like for semi-professional junior hockey players back in the day. Kevin, I got to ask you about your profile, the hard-nosed player, the fan favorite player. You mentioned the story about running over a goaltender. You can't quite do that anymore.
No, that's I think the whole, a lot of things have gone out the window, and it's funny today, like the kids. I can't remember where it was, Fresno or Louisiana, said they come in the morning for practices. Hey, Killer, did you see the line brawl they had? And there was only one fight. The rest was just pushing matches. And I'm like, fellas, that's not a line brawl. Like, a line brawl is when everyone drops the gloves and everyone's going, the goalies meet at center ice. That's a line brawl. So the kids, the kids don't, I think, have that grasp just because they don't see it anymore, right? So, and obviously it's for the better of the game as well. And I still think it's fighting's a part of the game, and it should be and remain. And, so like I said, I think the intimidation factor is still in hockey, except I think you got to use it more as, just being physical, playing smart, finishing checks on their D, just kind of wearing them down. That's kind of just being relentless on the puck pursuit and finishing every check. That's kind of the intimidation factor that I kind of thrive on, for our success as well.
You're beating me to the punch, Kevin, and I thank you for leading me into my next question. Your style of play when you played obviously is different than how you're coaching today, but at the same time, your stories, your lessons, your history of being a player and a coach for over 2 decades now. I mean, all over North America. What style of play do you like to coach, and how does it fit with junior hockey in Saskatchewan?
Well, I really like to, again, I like to be physical. And, like I said, even our leading scorer for last year, Dalen Mannon from Fresno, California, he is 4th in the league, in scoring. But I just told him, I go, Mano, I go, I just want you to have 2 hits a game and 1 block shot, and when your leading scorer does that, it's contagious, and everyone else will want to do that too. And I think that's when you get everyone on the same page, and you get everyone being, physical and relentless puck pursuit and blocking shots, just sacrificing, paying the price. I think that is just an intimidation, of man. The other team sees that, and they're like, wow, these guys are really, paying the price and putting their body on the line. So, like I said, when you get everyone doing that, it can be a huge benefit to not just for the whole camaraderie of the team, and they realize that this is how we're successful, and this is the culture we're trying to build.
You talk about that contagious feeling, that buy-in factor in your first year last year. Fairly successful. I mean, 72 points on the year. A very competitive division you were in, where 3 of the 4 teams made the playoffs. You had Yorkton right where you wanted them, splitting the series so far before everything shut down. What did you like about your team's play last year? You mentioned the word contagious. I used the word buy-in, defining a culture. What was it about your first year with the team that you enjoyed the most about coaching the group of men?
You know what? I think it was just the fact that once they found ways to win, they thrived on that. So, just before I got here, they only had 28 wins in 3 seasons. So our record last year was 33, 19, and 6, and we started 0-5.
Right.
So we could have been 1-4, but again, the guys from the years before still had that find ways to lose instead of finding ways to win. But like I said, I just told the boys, I said, hey, fellas, you guys are playing the way we want. We want you to play. As a coaching staff now says, just give me a little bit more. I said, 1 more block shot, 1 more hit from everybody, and we're going to be fine. Because I said we could have been 4-1 too, but we found ways to lose. And then at the showcase, again, we won in 2 close games, 3-2, and 1, I think, 4-3 in overtime. So, and then once they hit their stride, they're like, oh my gosh, winning is so much fun. And then we went on a string, and like I said, for after that, it was only 14 losses the rest of the year. So, I mean, these boys, like I said, the leadership that we had, and I think they didn't see that from the years before, but once they, you have meetings with the captains and the 20-year-olds and say, hey, this is your team, fellas. You guys got to keep going. You guys got to lead the way. I think they did do that. They showed the way to the younger guys, and now with their younger guys coming up, they have to do the same thing that the 20-year-olds did last year.
We'll get to the roster in the next segment, Kevin, but before we get to that, you mentioned finding ways to lose and then really liking the idea of winning. When it comes to a group of men like this, bonding and getting together and realizing you're putting a string of W's together, how important is it for you as a coach to step back and say, okay, it's their team, they're figuring this out, but you're leading them to the promised land. You're leading them to the 2 points as opposed to leading them to the zeros. And comment on how important it is for that team to develop those winning traditions.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's just after that, once they get that taste of winning, I think you just got to keep reiterating why we're being successful. Now, just because we're winning, let's not turn the page and now we start being fancy and doing different things. We're a meat and potato kind of team, grease and grit, whatever you want to call it, but we still have, we still use our speed, we still use our skill, but again, everyone is, again, taking the body, finishing their checks, being relentless on the puck pursuit. And then also we talk a lot about stingy D first. Let's frustrate them offensively. And once we create that turnover in our zone, I call it The D zone is the work zone. The neutral zone is the speed zone, and then the offensive zone is the fun zone. So once we create that turnover, let's use our speed through the neutral zone and then go be creative and have fun, be puck responsible, crash the net, all that stuff, and go have some fun scoring goals, because that's what it's all about. And I, to me, I really like my D in the rush. I want them, and you can look at their numbers all from last year. They've either doubled their points or tripled their points just from the style that I play and have my D-men join in the rush.
I think if you said everyone that the O zone was the fun zone, you'd have a lot more involvement in the fun zone, because I'd rather be there too. I wouldn't want to hang around in the D zone or getting stuck in the speed zone. I'm not built for speed. I'm built for fun. So get everybody in the fun zone. You keep it simple, Kevin. I like that, because sometimes the game gets too complicated for a lot of kids. Learning different systems, or learning, all the complexities between each teams, getting traded midway through the season. You keep it simple. These kids get it. They understand it. Would you call your team a heavy team? You said the word grit and grinder. What type of team do you like to coach the most?
Yeah, I like to have that little, all the right chemistry, I guess. I mean, we've got I think we're going to be a heavier team this year than we were last year. And we did lose a lot of scoring, and I think our Rob Fiola and his scouting staff have, I think, replaced a lot of that. Time will tell. But I guess that might be the only thing I'm worried about is, do we have that prolific goal scorer like we did last year with Mannon? And then we had a great cast of characters, around 60 points, 3 or 4 guys. So, but maybe we'll be a little bit more well-rounded if we don't have that prolific goal scorer. And we'll have to play a little bit more better defensively in our zone first. And to me also, I think we're going to have I think we got one of the 1A and 1B goalie. They're both starters. So they, we can alternate. They can stay fresh throughout the season instead of grinding one guy. But I think we'll have the best goalie tandem in the league, and just in my personal feeling, that's all.
That's totally expected. I mean, I would want my goalies to be 1A, 1B too, and that would be my personal opinion as well. March, Yorkton, 2-2. The series is tied. Did you feel like you had the momentum to get out of that series and continue to move on, or what are how would you have liked to have seen your playoff run continue? Obviously to win, championship, but explain to me how the playoffs were moving for the Ronge last season.
Yeah, and I guess just go back to the goalie situation. Our starter, our older goalie last year, Magarva, was out for 30 days. And then Cannon came in, and he went 8-1-1 down the stretch. And now going into playoffs, like I said, we're full of confidence and belief. And we go into Yorkton and we win the first game 6-1. And then second game, I felt, again, we lost it. We ran into some penalty problems, and they capitalized on, the power play. And then, you know what, when you have the best player in the league that was in Yorkton, Petruik, you give him that extra time on the power play and all that stuff. He made us pay, along with a couple other guys. And then, we came home. We lost a tough one, and then we rebounded with a very, very solid victory. So again, we had the momentum going into Yorkton. I know where I'm from, Churchbridge is only half an hour. I know all 900 people were coming up to watch the game, so we would definitely have the crowd on our side as well.
So it would have been a good fifth game, is what you're saying. It's just too bad we couldn't see how the season played out.
Right. I think, like I said, I think all 4 teams in our division made the playoffs, and Nipawin, Flin Flon, and Melfort, and us, we had a battle all year long, and it's a tough division. And then, like I said, I think, like I said, those teams thought they had just as good as an opportunity to win it. we thought we had the team to beat. Like I said, I thought we were built for playoffs. We had, as you said, we were heavy. We had the speed, we had the skill, we had the goaltending. But again, with what happened, we will never know.
We will never know. Real quick before we go to break, Kevin, for the players that aged out and weren't able to continue their championship, have you ever been in a situation like that where, sports stop because it's out of your hands and you wonder the what if for those players that aged out or aren't playing anymore?
Yeah, it's crazy. I know we had, I think, 8 of the 10 20-year-olds that we had. We carried, I made a couple of trades at the trade deadline for 2 20-year-olds. So we had 10, but you can only dress 8. 8 of the 10 were going to college. They had commitments to go to college. Dalen Mannon, he was actually supposed to write his SATs that when we got back from Yorkton on Saturday, and a couple other guys too, and they couldn't do that. So he's kind of in limbo right now too. Whether he tries to go to college, next year or whatever, or he's going to turn pro or something. So it's kind of, So like I said, it messed up, I think, a lot of these kids. And I even heard the one kid, Manson's not even going to college just because of everything that's going on this year.
It's an incredible situation. It's something we never dreamed of, never thought it would even exist. Kevin, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back here. We're going to talk about your preparations in this lengthened off season and looking forward to the start of hockey, hopefully in October, okay?
Sounds good to you.
We're right back here on the ice with the Ronge Ice Wolves head coach GM, Kevin Killer Kaminski. Back here with Kevin Killer Kaminski. Kevin, a lengthened off season. How did you keep busy over the extra couple of months? And tell us how Ronge, the team itself, is set up for the fall.
Well, I've been on this a lot. Watch a lot of video because all the showcases were canceled. Supposed to go scouting. I had a very interesting summer. When COVID hit, Dave Chartier has a cabin out here on Clam Lake, about an hour from Ronge, and his boy Jake played here. So I think there was only six of us guys, the players left, and me and my assistant Patty. Then Dave Chartier and his buddy drove up. So we had to haul the sleds, down this road to get to, drop the trucks off, take the sleds off, and then you haul everything up to his cabin. Well, I gunned it just a little too much, and we were only going like 20 miles an hour, and my fingertips were starting to get numb. And I just gave it a little bit of gas, and my hand came off. I went flying off the snowmobile, and I dislocated my shoulder and tore my rotator cuff more. So it was a tough day for me. It was because I tell you what, I couldn't move my shoulder. It was stuck, like I couldn't brace it against my body. So being the idiot that I am, decided to say I'm going to be okay. I can still fish. because I love fishing. So we went all the way out to the cabin, and every bump and snowdrift just absolutely killed. And then I was kind of like in shock. I was just I was overheating and everything else, and they tried to get a helicopter to come and fly me back to Ronge to the hospital, but all the helicopters were grounded due to COVID, unless it was a life-threatening case. So anyway, after a while, my assistant, they strapped me onto the back of the snowmobile with my assistant driving. We drove all the way back to where we parked the cars. My neighbor, Pacey, who works he's an EMT, they drove the ambulance, met the ambulance there. They drove me back to the Ronge. And I said they tried to get pop my shoulder back in, but they wouldn't do that. So they had to put me under. Finally popped it in, and then with that, there was no, obviously no surgery going on. So once my shoulder started feeling better after a couple months, I got the call from the doctor to get surgery. So I just had surgery about 6 weeks ago, sleeping in a lazy boy, and so I just basically I haven't really done a whole heck of a lot. My summer's been very uneventful, just to the fact just been recruiting in the lazy boy, and but the one good thing, I guess, for the recruitment of our team, Rob Fiola, our head scout, who's on his way for our main camp this weekend from Churchbridge, he went up to scout the KI in the BC, the Junior B, and I believe he's got he does his homework, brought a lot of good players in, so that's kind of been the recruiting process for us right now.
You're holding the iPhone up. How impressive is it that, I mean, I don't want to mention other competitors out there, but the fact that you can check out and recruit players with maybe more visual, more ease through technology, through video, through, the opportunity of seeing these players. But at the same time, you still have to analyze what they're doing amongst the current competition they're in those videos, whether or not that will equate to being a depth player, a third liner, a top scorer for you in the SJ. It's really up to your own eyesight and the trust of your scouting staff to make sure that you're equipping your team properly year in and year out.
Go ahead.
This camp that you're coming into, what have you got coming into camp, and what are you most excited about seeing this group of individuals potentially becoming new or existing Ice Wolves?
Yeah, you know what? It's been a crazy summer because, again, we lost 10, 20-year-olds. And then we lost all our other Americans who decided to, some with two guys that still had their 20-year-old season. They decided just to go back to school with everything that's going on. One got drafted to the Null. One's going to play in the NCDC. We lost our top defenseman who got drafted to the Null as well. So we've kind of had some, tough breaks, but again, so we've got, I think, 9 guys coming back, and they're very, very solid pieces to our puzzle that we're trying to build. And like I said, again, it's been 20 years for me coaching, and you get to trust your coaches or GMs that you've talked to all along, and they always say, well, can this, the player can play? Yes. He's got the speed, he's got the skill, or, and he plays with a little bit of edge. And that's kind of the players that I look for, that have a little bit of everything to offer, not just good at one thing, again, unless they're, very prolific goal scorer. Those guys, you got to give a little bit of leeway, but they got to work on their other parts of their game as well.
When it comes to building your team, Kevin, how do you, and I've asked several other coaches in junior hockey about this, because this one question will lead to the next one. We'll start with the first. You've got a younger player, first time out of the house, going into a billet family, new to the small community. How important is it for their personality, their characteristics off the ice to be just as impressive as what you're recruiting for on the ice?
Definitely, it's a huge part, just because I'm a guy who loves to do charity work, and wherever I've gone or wherever I've played or coached, I still do so much charity stuff, and also get involved in the minor sports wherever I've been, and again, just to show the people, not only inside the hockey world with minor sports, but also hospitals and schools that show that you care, and that you do things with a passion and integrity that you bring to the streets of Ronge. And like I said, I think this year's going to be a little bit of different, just because with the COVID stuff. I know 3 of our boys had worked at the school right behind our rink here, and I just don't know if that's going to happen this year. And like I said, these 3 guys did such an awesome job with the kids, and now they built that relationship where you see them at the rink, or they come to a game here or there, and again, they're high-fiving and the players, and to me, that's what it's all about. It's just about being a mentor to these young kids that are coming up in hockey, or helping them out in school as well.
That relationship with the community is so important for all junior programs all over Canada, because it's not about the big city, it's about the small towns and getting to know people's names and faces immediately. And it has that Cheers atmosphere, sort of, where you get to know people's names so quickly, and the relationship and the camaraderie with the community and the support that is given to the team is second to none. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, from, I guess, the last 3 years, they were getting 250 fans a game or less. And just with the success that we had on the ice, but also all the boys, man, we never missed a promo last year. I mean, they did everything possible. And, by the last month in playoffs, the sellouts 1,100 here, we were getting close to 1,000 every game. So it just shows that team success and winning on the ice helps, but also all the community stuff that you do, and whatever promo it is, goes much farther than you can think of.
Let's go back to the balance on the ice, Kevin. We talked a little bit about the relationship off. How do you maintain a powerful program with the constant turnaround within the team and the players? I mean, you've said half of your team, only 9 of them potentially returning. We've got the Americans not participating this year. We have aged out players, but you got to fill the rest of the voids with new players, fresh blood. How do you continually make sure that the product on the ice is progressing and is to your liking as a coach?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, what's the old saying? Can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So, what, like I said, and that's part of, again, the culture we're trying to build. I mean, if you don't want to buy in, then come and see me. Let me know. I'll trade you. I'll find you a different home. Simple as that, right? It's just like I tell the guys, I mean, I raise my voice once in a while, but I'm not a guy who breaks sticks or kicks garbage cans or anything like that. I just tell them straight up, if you guys don't want to work for 60 minutes in a game, then you're going to have an NPP the next day. And that's a no puck practice. We'll just skate for 60 minutes, so you just, you kind of dangle. I like to dangle the carrot for them, and like I said, if they, we call it LA North here. If you win Friday, Saturday, because Saturday we don't lose in LA North, I give them the green light. They can go have their little bit of fun. Now this year, I don't know about that, but yeah, like I said, you got to treat these guys, with respect, and they are older, and they got to go have fun once in a while too. But like I said, I think with, again, the culture we're trying to build. I mean, my assistant does such an awesome job with the defense. He's played the game at a high level, and he works with the D all the time. So and it shows why their numbers are so much better. And then again, just I think we're both on the same page. We like the style of play that we brought last year, and again, if they don't want to do that or go that little extra inch or extra mile, whatever you want to call it, then you're not. This program isn't right for you. We'll find you a different program. So life goes on, right?
It certainly does. I prefer less NPPs, more LA North Knights myself. I will say, Kevin, it's been a breath of fresh air talking with you. A little old school, a little new school. You've coached with some really great coaches, some really great mentors in your day. What advice from your older coaches when you were a younger coach that they gave you that you really held on to? And how do you instill that in your coaching days now?
Yeah, getting back to the NPPs, man, because I hate getting up early at 5 in the morning.
It's no fun for anybody, really.
No.
You don't want to have those 6 a.m. NPPs. You don't want to have the classic leave the lights off and just skate mornings. I mean, hockey's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be, you're supposed to have that grin from ear to ear when you get to the rink, right? And it is a grind. There is work that's got to get done. We're not saying that you can't, pound the sticks, practice shooting, all those jazzes. But the bottom line is you got to get to the rink and smile, and you got to get off the ice and say, that was a job well done. How do I make it better?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That's all I ask. Just give me the 100% effort and the sacrifice. And you know what? If we lose, I can accept that. There's going to be, a bad bounce, or there's going to be a great game by the goalie that's outstanding that you can't just beat, just stuff like that. But just give me the effort. Give me the all-out effort, and I'll be happy with that.
Absolutely. I asked you about coaches.
Yes.
Tell me about, give me, was there ever a quotation that a coach gave you growing up as a player or growing up as a coach that you've stuck with, and that kind of is your build on message?
Well, I mean, I had a lot of, playing, I had a lot of great coaches. Barry Trotz, who's still in the playoffs right now. We won the Calder Cup, the American Hockey League in Portland, Maine, with Washington's farm team way back when in 93, 94. He was just a player's coach. He just, let us have some fun, and but just come to the rink and work your nuts off. That's all. Do
you think he's successful because he's a player's coach, or has he kind of learned over the years that he needs to be stern at some times, but understand that he's working with adults?
Well, definitely, and I think like I said, he wants you to have fun. There's no doubt about that. And come to the rink and enjoy the guys and enjoy the game, right? But again, when things aren't going well, I think every coach, has to get a little bit stern and put his foot down and do whatever you got to do to motivate these guys to to change that little bit of lull that's in the schedule right now or in our game. We have to change that, and that might be just come to the rink and then, boys, practice is canceled. Get home, go get some rest, or go have some fun, whatever you got to do, or do a team bonding, paintball or something, just again to take their minds off it, and then I call it regroup, refresh, and restart. When I retired, I got the opportunity to coach under Mike Babcock, and I think as a player, the game, how to anticipate the game, how to prepare for yourself day in and day out. Now, how do you prepare for 25 guys to get them on that same page? And that's what Babs always told me about. When he got his first opportunity in Anaheim, I would talk to him. He says, Kevin, it's no different in junior hockey or the American League or the NHL. These guys need direction. You got to show them that you care. You got to get them on the same page. And if you do that, you're going to get results. And like I said, I just with Babs, he was relentless. He was always phoning people and asking them about the power play or the penalty kill or a forecheck. Like he just wanted to get better day in and day out. And so it was just like I said, the thing with that, and that's through a lot of the coaches, is just to get the guys to buy in, and you're going to have success. What
are you looking forward to most at the beginning for this season upcoming, Kevin? Is the fact of just getting on the ice, or just seeing, the jubilation of players getting to bang and muck around and cheer and score and high five? Or what are you looking forward to seeing most this season?
You know what? I look forward to, again, some of the guys have just come in the last couple of days. They're actually out on the ice right now, getting a little skate in. Again, it's just seeing that, again, what you just said, seeing that smile on their face, and, they're, hey, coach, how you doing today? And, just, again, just that those relationships will start building all over again, and bond with those boys. I mean, they're your boys. They're your babysitting for the next 6 months, maybe longer with COVID. I don't know, but yeah, this is what it's all about. And then again, once the bullets start to real fly, then it's that team camaraderie. Again, yeah, just to see them execute the way that you want them to play, and to score and come to the bench with high fives and. Just having fun day in and day out, and loving the game, because there's so many kids today that, we even had one kid, he's on our list. They drafted him. He went to Alberta. He got cut, and we called him to see what he was doing. He's quitting hockey. And it's just like, this is where you got to fight through that adversity, man. What are you going to do in real life when you lose a job and you got a family and kids to pay for, and you got a mortgage and all this stuff? I mean, this getting cut is just part of life. Like getting traded is part of life. It could be the best thing for you to get out of wherever you were into a new atmosphere and embrace it, and prove those coaches wrong, that you know what, you messed up. I'm gonna show you what I got, and I'm gonna go to a different team and whatever. But again, I don't want to say these kids today, because that's not right. But they do have to find some of that mental toughness and fight through. Again, it's a little bump in the road. Fight through that adversity and give you some character, or grow a set, and get back on the horse, right?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, but I'm glad you said it before I did, Kevin. We've used a lot of mottos and themes and quotations. I like the one that says, sometimes the hardest thing to do is that first step, and that first stride with the new team could be that blessing in disguise, like you said, Kevin. Truly, like I said, a fantastic breath of fresh air talking with you, because I mean, just because you can't find adversity or you can't fight through it doesn't mean you have to stop. Just if you can find a way, get through it. I want to ask you, before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to say to the community of La Ronge, looking forward to this season and thanking them for their support through the years?
Well, definitely. Last year showed me what this community was all about, the last month and then playoffs, just the fan support. The atmosphere in playoffs was absolutely outstanding, and obviously, I don't know if you've ever gone fishing for it, but the burbot, or the what's it else, Patty? What's it called? The Mariah. The fish. I don't know if you've ever seen these things.
I've never seen one, no.
Okay, so it's like it's like a catfish head with a snake body.
Okay.
They're absolutely disgusting. Like, I would never touch one. And so when in playoffs, they brought that tradition back. Whenever we scored, they would throw one on the ice.
Oh.
I felt so bad for the linesman, because he would have to pick it up and he would dump it into the penalty box or over by our box. And it was just hilarious.
How long were these things?
They're probably about that.
Okay.
that long. But yeah, I mean, at least they were frozen.
Okay,
But,
they weren't live.
Yeah, no, they weren't live. No.
Why didn't the ice crew go out there and pick them up? That just wasn't their thing at the day, or
I'm not sure. I have no idea. I guess to keep the game going a little bit faster, they had the linesmen to.
Well, I'm glad they weren't tossing out Ice Wolves parts or stuffies or anything like that. We'll keep that one alone. But the Mariah I'll have to look into.
Yeah, it's a weird fish, man.
That is gross. Have you eaten one?
Gosh, no.
Good. Okay, I won't ask you then, because.
But I hear it's good eating. Lazy man's lobster, they said so.
Lazy man's lobster, thrown on the ice, frozen as a delicacy during Ronge wins. I look forward to seeing the video and the traditions continuing, Kevin, this summer or this fall and the beginning of this season. I want to thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, again, like I said, the time and catching and scratching the old surfaces and relating it to the new days that the kids have to fight with tonight and do what they got to do. Look forward to seeing how the season starts. Good luck this season. And I look forward to seeing how the camps run this weekend, like you said, and the start of the season. So good luck. And thank you for joining me, Kevin.
Thanks, Theo. And I just want to leave you with this with one of my favorite quotes is from Michael Jordan. Heart is what separates the good from the great. And like I said, when you have everyone that plays with their heart, you can do some amazing things. You know what I mean?
You know what? Michael Jordan, one of my all-time faves. He is one of my all-time faves when it comes to knowing how to win and that attitude and that atmosphere of winning. Never met someone that didn't like the rings that he made people win for. That's what I always say. I mean, you want to run with a champion, you find champions to run with.
There you go. I agree.
Killer Kevin Kaminski on the ice here on Amateur Sports TV. Thanks for joining me. Show runs Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. Also, check out the Coaches Parlay every second Saturday on the ASTV network. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. We'll talk to you real soon, and we'll look forward to the start of the SJ season here at the beginning of October. Take care, and bye-bye for now.